Hi everybody, welcome back. I just posted a video not too long ago of me making a card with this Mountains with Mist and Forest stamp. This is from Blue Knight Rubber Stamps, and I had colored it in with chalks. If you missed the video, I'll link it at the end for you. And then I used two little stubby bird stamps from Crafter's Companion, and I stamped the birds on. And the sentiment is from Impression Obsession, which is us friends always. And then I stamped them out with chalk. I used a cloud border also from Blue Knight Rubber Stamps. And made this really nice scene, very serene kind of scene, right? Very peaceful. I can imagine hiking and being at the top of a mountain and looking down, right? But then I thought, you know what? This would look really cool as a nighttime scene. So we're going to stamp it out again. I already have it mounted in the Mini Misty. And we're going to use our VersaFine Clair black ink. We have our little handle here from Blue Knight Rubber Stamps. And we're going to ink this up, and yes, I do want it to be very dark and black. The last time I used the stamp, I used a gray ink, the Morning Mist from VersaFine Clair. But I want this to be very black and very dark, and I am using Bristol Smooth cardstock here for my base, and it is cut down to 5 1/4 by 4. Okay, pretty nice. So I'm just going to give that a second to dry. And while it's drying, I'm just going to clean up my stamp real quick. And it's nice is these stamps come with a nice backing sheet. So it goes right on there. I can put it right away. And then there's some color elements there I can look at for reference. And what I'm going to be using are my Distress inks. I'm just going to take the heat tool and dry this real quick because I don't want it to smear. So give me just a second here. So whenever I do a nighttime scene or a starry night scene, I always use the same colors. I use Chipped Sapphire, Seedless Preserves, and Black Soot. And today I'm going to bring in a little bit of Picked Raspberry. So we're going to start with that one being the lightest one. I do have my Distress blenders here already ready to go. And I'm just going to lightly take some of that right on the corner there. And I'm just kind of put it in the corners here, like in the lower areas. And because we're using Bristol Smooth, very light touch, it will blend beautifully. Okay. I don't want a whole bunch of that, just a tiny little bit. Next, I'm going to go in with the Seedless Preserves, which is a deep, dark purple. And I'm just going to build on top of that Picked Raspberry and just go to the next layer up. Next level up, a little higher. Now, if that starts to overpower, you can go back in with your Picked Raspberry and pull it back in here, and you can see how that blends beautifully. Those two colors are blending, and you don't have to worry about losing any of that color. Next, I'm going to go in with Chipped Sapphire, which is a really deep, dark navy blue. Again, just blending that down into the Seedless Preserves. I guess this would be considered like a twilight sky. And then grabbing my dauber for the seedless preserves and blending that back in. And then the last color I'm going to do is the black soot. And that's really just going to go on the ends. I'm just pulling a little bit of that color in. And I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to have good paper, because this Bristol Smooth just makes it super easy to do these blending techniques and getting that color to, you know, move together, blend together, and really seamless looking. You don't have any kind of marks or lines or anything. So I really think that looks like a really pretty night sky. So not much to do really with the image. It's pretty nicely stamped out. I do have some gray inks I pulled out here. So I have some Distress ink in Hickory Smoke, Weathered Wood, and then I grabbed Distress Oxide in Hickory Smoke, and I'll get to that in just a second. But I'm just going to grab some blending stumps. I'm going to start with this lighter gray and just grab some of that ink on a blending stump, just right on the corner, and just kind of color in my mountains here. I'm going to grab some Hickory Smoke, which is a little darker, and again, still just using the regular Distress inks, not the oxides. A little bit darker, just going to go into these darker areas here, down at the bottom. Color those in. Stray thread coming out of my ink pad there. Anywhere I need darker shadows, I'm going to go in with it darker. These blending stops pick up the ink and move the ink around, and it's a really soft application. So it's not a harsh line application. It's a really soft application of color. Okay, so I think our mountain looks pretty good there. And then what I want to do is I have the Hickory Smoke Distress Oxide, and I'm going to use one of these little $5 cheapy makeup brushes. I picked this up at the Five Below, and I'm just going to dip into that Hickory Smoke and pick up some of that color. And all I'm going to do here is go along that top mountain and just kind of put some of that color in. I picked the Distress Oxide because I knew it would be a little lighter in color, but I feel like it would give it that misty look a little more, like a fog. And we're just doing a really light application. And you can see the mountain is turning gray, and it does look like fog because it has this Distress Oxide effect, which is the white almost pigmented look to it. And I think one more thing, I'm going to add a little green here. I have a little forest moss here, and I think I'm going to take the blending brush and use it as well, just on the very tip. Just blending a little bit of green from the trees in there. It's very subtle. Okay, I feel like I need a little more blue in the mountains here, so I'm going to take some of that chipped sapphire. Again, going to go in with some more of the little blending brush, and I'm just going to dab a little bit of that blue in there. Just going to give that mountain a little bit of color. All right, there we go. So it's really subtle, but really pretty. We have this kind of twilight night sky where the sun has maybe just gone down. The mountains are kind of green, or sorry, gray and misty. We have a little bit of blue, which goes well with the green in the trees, and then we have the dark gray down here. So just another way to color this stamp. It's a super easy image to color, and just depending on what methods you do to make it pop. Now, if you really wanted to go the extra step and make it look like a starry night, we have a little bit of white gel pen we can add in here. Make it real random. And then somewhere I have like a Sakura glitter gel pen. Let me grab that. And that's just going to give it little specks of glitter to go in our night sky. All right, so there we have our mountain night sky using the Mountains with Mist and Forest stamp from Blue Night Rubber Stamps. If you missed the video I did before, that was using the chalks. That's this card here. So same stamp, two different looks to it. One is like a daylight, you know, hiking scene, and one is an evening scene, but both very beautiful. This would also look good using some reds and yellows and doing like a sunrise scene. But there you go, guys. If you have any questions, post them down below. If you like this video, I always appreciate your thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, I will click the subscribe button I will link the subscribe button for you. You can click that, and then up top here, I'll put the video for this card. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep on stamping. Bye-bye, guys.